In this video, I'm going to share with you the 10 steps to unlocking melodies once and for all. So by the end of this video, you're going to be able to write melodies in any genre that stick in your listeners' heads. Once you unlock this skill, you can achieve things like Molly, Dan and Gustav, or my other students, Zoya, Brandon and Nico, all of whom have well over 1 million streams. And if you'd like to work with me to get your music to a professional level, you can check the link below. And you can also download my free melody writing guide using the other link below. So step 1, you know when you're on Netflix and you're trying to choose a movie, you've got John Wick, a bloke running around with a gun, or The Shining, a bloke running around with an axe, or Twilight, which I wouldn't have any idea what it's about. The point is, each of those have a particular theme or a vibe, and you know what you're going to get. So the first most important step is to decide what kind of emotion you want to convey with your melody. If it's going to be happy, it's probably going to be in a major scale, or if it's going to be a bit more sad and melancholic, it's probably going to be in a minor scale. And really quickly, for anyone who doesn't know how scales work, let's do a quick recap. In most Western music, we use what are known as heptatonic scales, which means to say there are 7 notes in each scale. The simplest of which is C major, which uses all the white notes from C up to C, or for the minor key, A minor, and that's all the white notes from A up to A. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to write this melody in A minor natural, because it's the easiest one to write in, and I want to make something that sounds quite melancholic. Once you've picked a scale, in modern DAWs, like in Ableton here, you can actually select the scale that you want to work in, hit scale mode, and it's going to hide all of the notes outside of that scale. It's kind of like using stabilizers on a bike. Now, once that's done, we can start to write our melody, but instead of the main melody, I'm going to work on a mini melody first, and you'll see why in a second. Now, to make this whole exercise easier, I've put in a 4/4 beat so we can hear the rhythm of the melody, and I'm going to pick a grand piano to write this in, because another mistake I see newer producers making is choosing fancy synth presets which have got loads of effects on them, but that can actually distract you from what makes a good melody. The first mini melody I'm going to write is all going to be on the root note of the scale that we're working in, which is A, because we're working in the scale of A minor natural. I'm just focusing on the rhythm, and I'm just going to repeat that. So what we're doing is focusing on the rhythm first, because the other part of melody, which is pitch, we're going to save for afterwards. It just makes it way easier breaking melodies into its 2 constituent parts. So now I'm going to change the pitch of each of these notes. And you'll notice, because I'm in scale mode, it's very easy to hit notes that sound good together. So now we've got this. I'm just going to add one more note here, leading back up to the A, so the melody leads back to the beginning of the melody. Now you'll notice this is actually quite low down in frequency, it's quite bassy, and that's because this is actually our bass progression, but it's going to help us when it comes to the main melody. So I'm going to grab all of this, I'm going to duplicate it, sounds amazing, Will, put it up an octave, and then I'm going to build out the chord progressions, because that's going to be the perfect basis for our melody. So once you're in scale mode, the easiest way to build out chords is to just skip a note each time from the root note of each chord. So if this is the root note, we'll skip a note each time up to that position. So that's a 7th chord, and we're just going to do that for the other chords as well. And let's see how that sounds. Oh, that one's funny. So when a chord sounds funny like that, it's because there's a diminished interval in there somewhere. The easiest way to do it is to just move the note that sounds funny, which is that one, up 1 position in the scale. So now we've got this. Sounds so nice already, but I'm going to spice it up a bit more by changing the order of some of these notes. So using the same notes in the chord, I'm just going to bring them all closer together within the octave. So we can see we want a smaller distance between the lowest note of the chord progression and the highest note. It's going to gel everything together a bit more. So we can see here I'm going to move that up an octave. So it looks funny, but it's going to sound really cool. So now we're onto the main melody, what you've all been waiting for. A very common mistake I see producers making is that they overcomplicate their melodies because they think it's going to make it sound better. If you think about someone singing in the shower or just playing a piano or a guitar, should be able to play or sing that melody without too much difficulty. So just like our mini melody, aka the bass progression, we're just going to focus on using the root note of the track, which is the A, the root note of the scale we're working in. So I'm going to put this up another octave or so, and what I'm listening out for is to focus on a rhythm that's going to dance around the main kick drum and the chords within the progression, just focusing on rhythm. I want people to be able to just sing along to this at a festival or wherever. And I'll just add an extra bit of rhythm there, just to show that the second time it runs through, there's a slight variation. Now we can get on to the next step, which is changing the pitch of each of these notes. And in terms of which scale positions sound good in a melody, the root note will sound strong, which is going to be the A. The third, which is the C. The fifth, which is the E. The seventh, which is the G. And also what's called the supertonic, which is the second position, which is this one. And that's what Chris Martin from Coldplay likes to do in his melodies. So have you noticed what's happened with these pitches? Not only have we got a repetition of the rhythm, we've also got a repetition of pitch shape. So even though these notes aren't the same here, the pitch is going down in each of them by a similar amount as well. And when you've got something that goes down like this, and they're very close to each other, that's called stepwise. And if you've got a big jump like this, from there to there, that's called leapwise. And you can use both of these in melodies, as you can see, but usually stepwise is going to be the most common because it's like telling a story. If there's a nice understandable progression without too many plot twists, it just makes it easier to digest and easier for people to remember. But a cheeky plot twist here and there can really help add excitement. Ooh. But I've heard something that I'd like to switch up in the rhythm. I'm just going to move this note here to create more of a syncopated feel. I think it works well. Lovely. So at this point you might think, great, that's my melody written, but that is where most tutorials finish. I've still got 3 things to show you that are going to take this melody to the next level. I'm going to create harmonies. Now most of you would have heard this term, but all it is really a chord, but with just 2 notes instead of 3 or more. It works in the same way as chords. We can just skip a note each time, like this, either up or down. And it's going to create something that is probably going to work well with the melody. I say probably because now and again you might stumble across one of those diminished intervals, but you already know what to do. You just move it up 1 position in the scale. Now a couple of those sound a bit weak to me, and what I find works well with harmonies is if you stick on the same note sometimes. It makes it sound like it's not completely mimicking the melody, like so. Now it's worth noting the harmony should work as its own melody unto itself. So if we were to delete the main melody, does this still have a repetition of rhythm and a repetition of pitch shape rather than jumping all over the place? And it should sound fairly strong because we've got that repetition of pitch shape. Oh, that sounds really nice to me. But what if this is a bit of a slower tempo and we find that there's a bit of space in between these notes, or we want a different instrument to fill out that space? Well, we can create what's known as a counter-melody. And a counter-melody will dance around the main melody, enhancing it, so it differs from a harmony where it's playing the notes at the exact same time. Once again, the rules still apply. We need repetition of rhythm and repetition of pitch shape. So let's try out this little bing 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 pattern. And I'm just going to make it much simpler because we don't want it fighting against the main melody. Now I accidentally actually made this into a syncopated rhythm, which is a bit beyond the scope of this video, but I think that sounds really nice. So let's get on to the final stage of how to make this into an interesting melody. But before we do that, I'm actually going to break this apart into different instruments so we can hear how working just in the grand piano has really helped us. Split across different instruments, but it can still sound a bit robotic. So depending on what genre of music you're making, you might want to add a little variation and humanize your melody a bit. Now a way I like to do that within the DAW is to just hit this humanize button, and it's going to adjust the length of the notes slightly and push them slightly off the grid. Now, as I said, it depends on what genre you're making, but this can be a quite nice effect. The other thing that we can do is randomize the velocity. And depending on how your synth or sampler is set up, this is going to change the characteristics of how each note is hit. So now it sounds like this. And you can tweak it to your liking. You can have it randomized slightly less, so there's less variation. And then you've pretty much got a song. Now your personal taste is going to come into this, of course, so if a melody just comes to you, as it will sometimes, it's easiest to just grab a phone recorder and just get it in there as quickly as possible. You can make it sound great later. I've tweaked a few things based on my personal taste, following all the same rules, and this is the final result. Now you might be thinking, is this all there is to it? Well, I'm going to break down 3 of the most famous melodies of all time to show you that this applies to them too. You can see it popping up in that video there, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you over at that next video where we pick apart some of the most famous melodies ever.